Hello, my name is Les Hedman, CEO and founder of Helix Health and Wellness, and I'm here today with our Health and Technology series interviewing Tom Alexander. Tom, actually I'll let you introduce yourself. I've known Tom for about a year and a half, and we were proud members and continue to be alumni members of 1871, and Tom is currently the Chief Operating Officer.
Correct.
And not only in his guidance in that role, but also as a mentor to a lot of the other colleagues that I have at 1871, I thought Tom would be great to impart his advice and wisdom on entrepreneurs, not just in health and technology, but anyone endeavoring to get into the world and lifestyle of an entrepreneur and really being a success. So Tom, if you want to introduce yourself quickly.
Yeah, I'm Tom Alexander. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at 1871. Been there for about a year and a half. Previously had a variety of roles in government.
Outstanding. So one thing Tom does very well is he's able to really convey the importance of success and really inspiring people to be successful. One thing I can say, Tom, that I've learned in my experience with you and Howard at 1871 is really being focused and really looking at the big picture. So as we transition into, moving into a medically specific environment, we've had to really, take the suggestions that we got at 1871 and really now start talking to folks in our industry like doctors or the Avias or the AbbVies of the world. What would you say to somebody entering into an industry maybe from outside of their expertise?
So number one is you have to get educated. There's no fake it till you make it. There's no, I'm going to sort of hoodwink you in this world anymore. You have to know what you're doing, know what you're asking for, be able to deliver real value propositions to people. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So that's the first step for sure. The second step is I think you actually really do have to spend a lot of time getting focused and understanding what your objectives are. I think one of the things that we see at 1871 is people are pulled in all sorts of different directions and they kind of chase the latest shiny object, or they had a great idea in the shower this morning and now they're going to completely spend the next 3 days pursuing that until they find out it doesn't work. All of that stuff adds up over time, and I think what's really incumbent upon entrepreneurs is that they make sure that they have a plan and that they stick to their plan, and that when they change their plan, they do so because the data told them that they should change it, not because of any other reason. Certainly not because of a hunch or because somebody that they think is cool told them that they should change it, or the latest person that they talked to gave them a different idea. All of that stuff becomes a huge distraction over time. And so what we're really advocating is that people get smart about their business, get focused about what they're going to try and accomplish, and get realistic about their goals.
I can totally appreciate that, especially in healthcare where it takes a long time to mature.
Yeah.
Money's really always the bottom line, how much runway you have. And to make a pivot or a change, really you have to be calculating in how you do that. And the data should do it more so than emotion. But nonetheless, since this is our lives, a lot of us are very emotional about what we're doing. And I think that that's been very positive for me and my team, really caring about helping people to get better.
Yeah.
What are some other attributes that you think are very important?
Well, first off, so let's not confuse caring with making bad business decisions.
Very true.
So you can care and make good business decisions at the same time. We refer to it as dodging raindrops, right? Like you have all of these businesses that are getting all this information toward them that what they're trying to do isn't working. And so what they're doing is they're kind of changing their model to avoid getting wet. But that's the worst thing that you can do because they're not paying attention to the evidence that's in front of them about what their business should really be evolving into and how they should be going about doing what they're doing. So, number one is you have to have passion. You have to care. You have to be invested in it. We always say you don't stay up until midnight working on somebody else's idea. And that's totally true. You have to, everybody on your team has to be empowered to try and pursue whatever it is that they're doing on your project with full gusto, with all of the spirit that they have in their body. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You got to be smart about it. You got to be tactical about it. We think that's really important. You have to be honest. You have to be really straightforward with the people that you're working with, and especially when money is concerned. This is just not an area and not an environment and not a world anymore where you can kind of lie about anything like that. And telling half-truths or telling half-truths to yourself, that counts as lying also. So you have to be very, very honest with yourself about where you are and where your business is and what you're trying to accomplish. And then the last part is you have to be, adventurous. I mean, you have to be willing to take some risks. This is not the industry. This is not the endeavor for somebody who's not willing to take risks. Entrepreneurship at its core is about taking your shot. So if you're going to do it, do it. Don't go halfway. Don't not do something because you're afraid of what's going to happen. The whole idea is that you're not afraid of what's going to happen, or that at least you're willing to face the consequences of what's going to happen.
And also being from the Bay Area, one thing that I know that you and Howard drive home a lot is Chicago's different. You work hard. Maybe funding shouldn't be the only carrot that you're chasing.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be customers.
For sure that.
And money. If you can speak to that a little bit.
Well, they should be chasing customers in California and New York also. There just aren't any there. So, in Chicago, we have this amazing corporate community, unrivaled in the world. So diverse, so that any industry that you're in, we have a client here for you, a major client. And healthcare, forget about it. I mean, we have everybody here. The corporate community also is sort of uniquely open to working with small and emerging businesses, right? So you just don't have this sort of climate where large corporations are willing to sit down with startups in any other city. That happens all the time in Chicago. We've done a huge business of that at 1871. There's stuff like that going on at Matter. A lot of our different companies have made great corporate connections. The last thing is that, it's great that the tech economy is here, but what we've done with the tech economy in Chicago is made it a very sort of Chicago-style tech economy. Our companies are business-to-business companies. They do boring things like save time, save money, improve productivity, improve efficiency. These are things that corporations care about. This is what corporations are all about. And so if somebody comes into a corporation and says that they're going to do those things for them, they're going to listen, and it doesn't matter who's sitting on the other side of the table. And it doesn't matter how big that company is if they have a solution that's going to work and it's going to scale and it's going to accomplish those goals. So for us, it's really about kind of owning what makes Chicago, Chicago, and then layering that on top of all of the sort of geographic advantages we have, all of the governmental advantages we have, all of the logistical advantages we have. All that stuff is great, the work ethic, that sort of thing. And then the last piece of it is working on the weather, and that's like a whole other challenge for us.
Well, hopefully summer's here.
Yeah. Right.
And you know what, Tom, it's always good to get a fresh perspective. Sometimes in healthcare, we're mired down in all of the EHR talk, or the what's coming next, or value-based payment. Where do you see the future of Chicago in entrepreneurialism in general?
So B2B for sure, I think is here to stay. You mentioned healthcare. One of the things we see is vertical industries. So Chicago has serious leadership in a few major vertical industries: education, healthcare, retail, travel and hospitality. We're dominating the global stage in these industries already. And so where I see the future of technology is going is interesting technological solutions in healthcare, education, retail, travel and hospitality. Professional services is another industry we do really well with. Food is another industry we do great with here in Chicago. All those different types of things, they're not going away. It's not like education has become any less of an issue. In fact, it's become 100 times more of an issue in the age of technology than it was before. And so it's incumbent upon the tech community to sort of understand which way the world is going and build businesses for that. And that's what we really do well here in Chicago. You don't see a lot of companies that are trying to build the latest app that's going to be on every 16-year-old's phone, and they require 500 million people downloading it to really become a successful company. That's not the types of companies that we're building here. What we're building here is modern companies for the industries that we know are here already and are here to stay.
Very well said. As we sit here in this prestigious historical building of the Merchandise Mart, I wouldn't have left energy and lead consulting if I wasn't going into something equally problematic and equally big like healthcare. And I think the real success or the real opportunity is be pragmatic and work with institutions that are already leading the way.
For sure.
Tom, thank you so much again for your insight. It's always good to spend time and talk with you. Again, my name is Les Hedman, the CEO and founder of Helix Health and Wellness. And again, I want to thank Tom Alexander with 1871 for spending time and giving great advice to all aspiring entrepreneurs or ones that are chipping away at the stone every day. Thanks again, Tom.
Sure.
Excellent.